What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome back. If you're in here now, pop on in. Let me know how you guys' Mother's Day celebration went. What did you guys do for your moms and for your wives, your significant other, your baby mama, whatever. So let me know. What's up, Bobby? How's it going? So we got lots to talk about Monday morning. A lot of things to talk about. First of all, Clubhouse finally opened for Android users. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The audio drop-in chat scene, what's happening with that, all that good stuff with Clubhouse. We're going to be talking about how Apple AirTags have been kind of compromised, a little bit about that. I'll have those articles pulled up so you guys can follow along with me. Also going with Apple, more than likely going with their own 5G modem chips at the earliest of 2023 by Min-Chi Kuo, who pretty much suspects that's going to happen. Talk a little bit about the Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I saw the trailer to it. Obviously, I can't show the trailer because, small YouTubers get dinged by YouTube, but, it's okay. It is what it is. You guys can see the trailer afterwards, or you guys probably already saw the trailer, but we'll talk about it a little bit. And, so, oh man, what a crazy morning. Oh, let's see what's happening here. I am sick all weekend. I requested a substitute teacher today to fill in for me. I'm going to go to the doctors. Oh man. Well, I hope you start feeling better soon. I know that's gotta suck to get sick and everything like that, especially nowadays, going to the hospital, seeing a doctor, people going there for not feeling well. It's a tough situation, a bit nerve-wracking to go to the hospital, really, honestly. I have a fear of going to hospitals. Even going to doctor's appointments, I have it's a bit nerve-wracking for me. But anyways, so you guys probably saw, those who follow me on Twitter probably saw my tweet last night. I'm not BSing anybody. I actually cracked the Pixel 5 screen. It's really, really, really sad. Currently, right now, I switched over. I'm using my Pixel 4. It's still usable, the Pixel 5. I can still use it if I wanted to. A cracked display kind of irks me a little bit, but it's still usable. It's spider cracked all the way. Like, it's spider cracked in the top right corner, and the crack just runs all the way down the screen itself. And here in my city, we do have a You Break I Fix shop, which is certified to repair Google Pixels. And I got a quote online on how much it's going to cost to replace the screen for the Google Pixel 5. And it's $219.99 to replace that screen. And that's before taxes and fees. So I'm looking at a good possible, maybe $250. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I miss my students a lot. I don't want it to be COVID. I will miss 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks left with my students. Yeah, because summer's coming up, right? So there's only like 2 weeks left within school. That's got to be tough. And you sound like a really good teacher, man, because the teachers that I had growing up, they really didn't miss us students like that. So for you to say that, you're going to miss your students a lot, because, they're going to be passing on, going to a next grade next year. So obviously, you'll probably see them in the halls, but they won't actually be physically in your class. I mean, I know that teachers build a lot of relationships. And to me personally, I feel like that in this generation today, teachers don't get enough respect. I see lots of videos that go up online on like, how students are with the teachers. I mean, I don't know what grade you teach. But I see like, some teachers is getting, not the respect that they deserve, so it's a hard job. Teaching is a hard job because your whole skill set is based upon the fact that you're going to be expanding minds. You're opening minds to new thought processes and stuff like that. I made 2 weeks of sub plans. Oh, that's cool. So you get your students in your class all up to those spots where they need to be at. So that way, right now I'm having a hard time with my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter, for some reason, does not want to go to school. She usually likes school, but this last couple of weeks, she's been crying every morning that I wake her up for school. You teach ninth and 10th and 11th. Oh, theater. Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. I bet your class is fun as hell. Start the morning off right with a little bit of green tea. Okay, all right. So we will kind of drop the background here for a sec. Move it off there. All right, so let's kind of go into this whole AirTag fiasco. I think this is actually pretty interesting. And a lot of people reporting on like how AirTags have been compromised and whatnot. And this article pretty much popped up and kind of caught my attention here. So I was just kind of skimming through it. But this is from Mac Rumors, okay? So macrumors.com. You know what? Just for shiz and gigs, let me go ahead and just drop this in the chat. Anyone can go back and pretty much take a look at this later on if they want to. So let me just post that there. Coffee, good morning to you, good sir. Welcome to the podcast. How's it going? Okie dokies. So we got Mac Rumors right here. Let me go ahead and just kind of go over a brief synopsis of this. So it says AirTag successfully hacked to show custom URL in lost mode. The inevitable race to hack Apple's AirTag item tracker has reportedly been won by a German security researcher who managed to break into the device's microcontroller and successfully modify its firmware. They post a link to the Twitter. And hang on, my son's coming in here. What's up, buddy? Oh, bless you. Good morning. Do you want popcorn this early in the morning? Don't you want like a granola chewy bar? You want popcorn? I'm sorry, guys. Hang on 1 second. Dad duties. Bless you. Did you sleep okay? Yeah? You look really sleepy. You sure you don't want to get an extra couple hours of sleep? No? All right. Go ahead. Love you, buddy. It's funny because he looks like half asleep. The first thing he went for. He loves popcorn. He wants popcorn for a snack, so he watches his morning cartoons with popcorn, like he goes to the movies and stuff like that. So, hey, Baby Yoda, what's going on, man? Welcome to Monday podcast. Okay, let me get back to this AirTag stuff here, right? So they post the tweet itself, and it says, yes, after hours of trying and bricking 2 AirTags, I managed to break into the microcontroller of the AirTag itself. So it continues on to say that Thomas Roth, aka Stock Smashing, shared his achievement in a tweet and explained that reflashing the device's microcontroller had enabled him to change the URL for lost mode so that it opens his personal website on a nearby iPhone or other NFC-enabled devices instead of directly linking to the official Find My web address, right? So, you know, a bit interesting there when it comes to that itself. So what were some of the things that he had to do to get in there to actually, you know, reflash the microcontroller? So then that way that it opens, like when you go to try and locate that AirTag, instead of it locating it, it actually opens his website instead of going to the Find My Web, that, you know, which is the Find My iPhone thing, right? So they have the tracking website. It deviates from the tracking website and goes to a website that he has programmed into the microcontroller itself. And kind of interesting, but I think with something like this, has to actually be linked and connected to, rather than just, you know, done remotely, is what I'm assuming here. So we'll kind of go on just a little bit here, a little bit more about it, just to kind of see what he did. So there's his other tweet, and as you can see, he has something hooked up to it. Let's see if we can play this real quick. Okay, so it's a demonstration, modified AirTag. Okay. So that's a quick 14-second clip. It says, after confirmed that we reflashed the microcontroller, woohoo, built a quick demo, AirTag with modified NFC URL. All right, so rather than it actually pulling up the site. So, I mean, obviously here, and you can see he has it connected. There's some wires right here that I'm looking at in the video clip. So it's not something that's going to be able to be done remotely. And people will probably wonder, like, why do people go through these extents to do these types of things? Why is it that when like a new piece of technology comes out, people want to try and see if they can break it? And this is just basically because that way, like Apple and other companies are aware of like the vulnerabilities of these things, right? Like we can't just put out technology and say that this thing is going to be foolproof and it's not impenetrable. Which is far from that. If you can do this to that, and just imagine some other functionalities that you can do with AirTags itself, right? You know what I mean? Because like today, like technology is moving so far in advance, right? Like today, they actually have NFC Business Cards. So you carry a card on you that has an NFC chip built into it and has information stored on that chip. And if you wanted to share, like say, like your socials, your phone number, your other second line phone number and stuff like that, you're gonna have somebody, if they have their phone on them, whip out your business card, let them tap on your business card, and it opens up a link on their phone, and they can follow you on Twitter, follow you on Facebook. They can add your mobile number to their contact list and save it. Like all those things are prevalent in today's technology. These things happen. I mean, I'm actually considering getting one, myself, as I'm going to try and market my YouTube channel to go even further. Like, I've done the retirement thing. I think I'm not really retired. You know what I mean? Like I want to see how far I can go with this, so I'm reinvigorated by a lot of the things that's going on with my social platforms, and I'm going to try to expand and grow, right? Those people who follow me on Facebook have noticed that I've been talking about how my Instagram has grown from a different thing that, I'm interested in, which is, comedy stuff and reactions and things like that. And I've been doing that on Instagram, and it's been growing. I'm about to break 700 followers on Instagram. I think it was at 691 about 30 minutes ago. And so I may break 700 today. With the YouTube side of things, like I really want to kind of grow this and expand it more. So I think, one of the things I will do is create a business card that links my YouTube channel, that, links, all the things that I want people to be able to follow me on and to see the content that I create. And that's one way I'm going to do it, is by having that business card. I meet people in my city here, I help them out with their phone or whatever, when they're kind of like, puzzled with their phone, and let them know, like, this is what I like to do. This is my interest, my hobby. This is my YouTube channel. Tap here, boom, they can subscribe, right? Build a fan base, grow, and push forward. So, with these AirTags, when you can modify the microcontroller, just imagine what you can do with them on that. You know what I mean? You can put, in anything, in a little, like a daily planner book. You can have it in like one of the pockets or whatever. Just have the person tap your daily planner book, and it opens up a website to something that you want them to go see. I mean, it just creates more functionality out of AirTags than just locating items. And but can this be used for bad? And obviously so, it can. It definitely can. And it's something that, I think that a lot of people are kind of worried about, as AirTag seems to be the thing that most people are kind of, afraid of. While it is intentionally used to track items, and you can even use it to track your kids, by putting it in their backpacks, putting it in their shoe, whatever, a place that you can find that this thing will fit. Some people have gotten really creative with the tracking of all when it comes to this, but also people are like more in fear that somebody else can actually use it to stalk. Which I'll get into in another time. I'm still doing more research on it, on like, how people perceive this to be in that manner, but also to come up with ideas to help people, instead of just explaining to them that, people feel like this thing could be tracked. I also like to try and find methods to be like, this is what you can do to kind of avoid that. That's the idea. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, just, total craziness with AirTags. I mean, I already knew that this was going to happen. This is absolutely going to happen with something such as that. So yeah, let's get into the next subject at hand here. And this one is coming from TechSpot. All right, so TechSpot really just kind of kind of just letting people know that Google will, in fact, default everyone's Google account to a two-factor authentication. Now, if you don't know what two-factor authentication is or how it works with your Google account, basically, when you have a Google account set up and you have your Google account signed into multiple devices, right? If you were to get a new device and sign into your Google account, it would actually have to authenticate. So besides you just, putting in your Gmail and then putting in your password, once you hit sign in, it's going to send a code to other devices that's already signed into your Google account that you're going to have to verify through. And the way that works usually is that you get like a pop-up notification, say like on your other smartphone, tablet, or even your Chromebook, and it's going to say that a device is trying to sign into your Google account. If this is you, hit yes. If it's not you, hit no. And if you hit yes, then on the device you're signing into with your Google account is going to display 3 bubbles with 3 different numbers. And on the device that's already signed into your Google account, you're going to have to choose the correct bubble. Wait, the one you're signing into, sorry, let's scratch that. Let's take it back. So the device you're signing into is going to show a bubble with a number, and the device that's already signed into your Google account is going to display 3 bubbles with 3 different numbers. And the one that's signing into, you have to, like I say, if it's 71, and then on the device that's signed into your Google account has 33, 71, 18, you have to choose the correct one to prove that it is you. So that way it will complete the sign-in process for the device you're signing into on your Google account. That is two-factor authentication. And most people have this turned off, right? Only a very few people have this actually turned on with their Google account. But now Google is going to default this no matter what. And so we'll find out some explanations here. This is from the site techspot.com. And it says your Google accounts will soon default to two-step verification, right? And it says, in a nutshell, World Password Day was last Thursday, and in honor of the day, Google announced that it would soon make two-factor authentication default for all Google services users. Additionally, it will automatically enroll appropriately configured accounts. Appropriately configured means people who already have a recovery method in place, like a secondary email or phone number. So that's actually good to know, because you do need like a secondary email in case verifications fail through or whatever. Then you have another place to actually retrieve passwords and stuff like that. So that's actually pretty cool. So if you've never really set up your Google account to actually have a recovery number or a recovery email for them to send some sort of authentication that way, in case the other ways of proving your identity fail, then they won't enable this if you don't have that set up. But they'll more than likely give you like some sort of notification telling you to set this up, so that way they can turn on 2FA. And to be quite honest, with your Google account, because it is tied into everything that you do on the Webernet, you definitely want to have something like this turned on. Like, is it 100% foolproof, prevent hacking? No, obviously not. I mean, there are some sophisticated hackers that can break through. Even if you have 2FA on or 2SV, you can have it, pretty much, you can still get in. But you gotta be really good at what you do. And so, when you really think about it, honestly, it does still give some sort of preventative measures. And that's what really kind of counts with this, right? That's really what you kind of want out of it. You don't want to make it easy for them to get all your stuff. Let's see. That's not a bad thing. The first subject was totally blah, unneeded things. Oh, you're talking about AirTags? Well, I mean, I have more people that watch, so it may be blah for you. But hey, that's why there's several subjects here to talk about. But I'm still glad that you're here, though. Anyways, so with that being said, if you have not set up, two-factor authentication or 2FA or 2SV, if you have not, set up, recovery for your Google account, might as well get on the ball of doing that. So then that way, this is automatically enabled. But obviously, they're just wanting to have people have their stuff more protected. Especially today, and the way things are going today, you definitely want to have some sort of protection on your Google account. It is the root core of everything that you do, so you definitely want to make sure that you have that on lock. Okay, so Anyhow, let's go into this interesting bit of news. I didn't mean the subject, but the subject of the subject. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I got what you mean. Yeah, sometimes I kind of ramble off. That's me. Hashtag ADHD problems. All right, this one's actually pretty interesting and pretty cool itself. And as you guys see, I was reading this earlier too. This is from Engadget.com. I'll pop this in the chat so you guys can also check it out later too at your leisure time and read more into it, because I don't actually read the full article. I mean, I read it already, but I don't go over it completely on here. Anyways, so according to Min-Chi Kuo, and he's been pretty good at calling Apple stuff. I mean, Technoid will pretty much tell you guys, because he follows Min-Chi Kuo on socials, and so he knows the percentage of speculations that actually turn out to be exactly how it was said. But anyways, from Engadget.com reports on this and says that Apple may switch to its own 5G iPhone modems by 2023. Qualcomm will remain its 5G chip supplier until then, and this is by the analysis Min-Chi Kuo. So, it says Apple's purchase of Intel's 5G smartphone modems business in 2019 may start to pay dividends in 2023, according to analyst Min-Chi Kuo, who, in report from Mac Rumors, Apple's first iPhones using its own custom-designed 5G chips will appear in 2023 at the earliest, he wrote. If that proves accurate, Apple will rely on Qualcomm to supply its modems for at least a couple of more generations of iPhones, which is basically the next 2 generations after the iPhone 13. So we're looking at probably the iPhone 16 to launch with its own 5G chip. We predict that the iPhone will adopt Apple's own designed 5G baseband chips in 2023 at the earliest. As Android sales in the high-end 5G phone market are sluggish, Qualcomm will be forced to compete for more orders in the low-end market to compensate for Apple's order loss. The new rumor lines up with the recent Barclays report that acclaimed Apple's custom 5G modems will appear in 2023 iPhones, as Mac Rumor notes. Given the challenges that Apple and Intel had implementing a 5G modem, it's not surprising that it's taking Apple some time to develop its own chip. Apple currently uses Qualcomm Snapdragon X55 modem in the current iPhone 12 models and is expected to use the X60 and the X65 modems in 2021 and 2022. Once companies switches to its own modems, it may reduce supply constraints, thus on 5G modems, making the technology more feasible to low-end smartphones, according to Kuo. So, okay, I just pretty much read the whole article right there. But anyways, and so this is actually like kind of a good move or whatnot, right? Because when it comes to 5G phones today, right, when you think about the construction of a smartphone and you want to know why a certain price is for a certain phone, you're kind of like left with your, scratching your head wondering like, why was this price or whatever, right? Hardware plays a key factor, right? So the type of chip that's used in the phone, the type of, build of the phone, the subtle things, like the speakers, the camera sensors, like all those make a major play in the pricing of what the phone comes out to be when it comes out. Usually it is better for a company to design its own chip. And that's not a far-fetched statement, because you got to look at the big G company that's touting Project Whitechapel and that it's using its own custom processing chips in its Pixel lineup going forward, stepping away from relying on Qualcomm for its processing chip, and a whole plethora of good things to come out of this, which is obviously longevity for these devices, because it's in-house chip build means that basically they set the tone of the life expectancy of the smartphone. Now, I'm not saying that Android is definitely going to be 5-year support on Google Pixel phones. It could still stay at 3, so we still got to be prepared to get side blinded by some sort of quirkiness that Google will do. But it goes to show that companies thrive better when they in-house make their own chips. So for Apple to go and make their own 5G modems, making them non-reliant on third-party sources, which is Qualcomm, is a good fit and a good move. Now, when it comes to Apple and how they build things out, they tend to take their time on doing it. One of the reasons why is because they don't ever want to suffer the we release and it fails. You know what I mean? They had an embarrassing fiasco when it came to the iPhone 6, hashtag Bengate, where the iPhone 6 Plus bent where the volume control and where the SIM tray was. The integrity of the aluminum body itself was compromised. It was weak at that area. So if you put your phone in your back pocket and sat on it, you can easily bend the iPhone 6 Plus. They corrected that in the iPhone 6s, basically giving it more stabilizing that area to withstand stress point, like to strengthen the stress points. So you kind of see where Apple goes with these things, right? The latest version of iOS 14.5 had some issues, some very big issues if it was left unchecked. And so it's the reason why when iOS 14.5 came out, not that long after, iOS 14.5.1 came out. So Apple's very meticulous about the stuff that it puts out, right? They're, hey, it is what it is. You got to appreciate it, especially if you're an Apple user and you only use Apple products. You really got to appreciate that. So for them to go and say that they're going to put out a 5G modem in-house and stop using other third-party modems, that's got to be a good thing, because then, again, Apple seizes full control over what it does. And so therefore, it having its own 5G modems basically sets the tone, but it also makes an impact on the market outside of the Apple ecosystem, the Apple realm, right? Because Qualcomm obviously is going to compete for that business. They're going to lose Apple as a, being a supplier for the 5G modems to them. So what's, exactly how the article states it, Qualcomm's going to have to try and make up that loss of revenue that they would have gotten from Apple purchasing modems from them. They would have to supplement that some other way, some form faction, which means that we'll start seeing a lot more low-end, mid-range, and high-end flagship 5G phones for Android, which is the plan anyways. It is a plan to step forward. Right now, currently, it's mostly flagships that are popping 5G. You got a couple of like high mid-rangers that are popping 5G, but a lot of budget phones being released are still reliant on 4G LTE. And so this kind of plays into the evolution of 5G with, seeing possibly even, $50, $60 phones with 5G capabilities. These things are all, that's going to be coming down the pike later on, down in a couple of years. So to kind of see this, it doesn't really surprise me that, Apple would do this to kind of like force push that into the realm. I mean, it is what it is, and it's actually a good play and a good move on that part. So big shout out to Apple for that one. And who knows, if Apple's modems are really good, are they going to allow it to go outside? That's the question. And to me personally, when I think of that, the first thing that comes to mind is that no, Apple, if Apple designs and builds their own 5G modems, I am for sure they are not going to let that modem go to a Samsung device or a Google Pixel. It's going to stay on iPhone only. And so that's something that, to be honest with people, that's where it's really going to be at. So that's actually kind of pretty cool. So anyhow, we got most of that out of the way. Last thing to really kind of talk about on the tech side of things is Clubhouse making its debut on Android. Now, you guys know I've been following Clubhouse. Clubhouse has been the audio drop-in chat sensation since last year. Really, really kind of boosting its popularity because of the pandemic, and so much that even big major, social platforms such as Facebook and Twitter are copying and cloning their own versions of what Clubhouse is, right? Twitter has theirs up already at this point. It's called Twitter Spaces. And it does exactly what Clubhouse does. Right now, Twitter has it open up to people that have 600 followers and up. So if you have less than 600, you won't be able to create your own space on Twitter Spaces, but you can still join in on other people's spaces and be able to talk. And that's really all it is. It's just an audio group session talk on these social platforms. That's also coming to Facebook. Facebook is still developing theirs. And there's rumors that Facebook is developing one for the Facebook app, but also developing one for the Instagram platform. So Instagram will probably have its own version of it too, which doesn't surprise me that it would go that route. And Reddit is already on top of it with their own version of it that is being beta tested by some Redditors right now. So you got Reddit, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, all those cloning what Clubhouse is. And last week, they reported that Clubhouse really lost steam behind it. They really lost steam. There's not a lot of downloads happening, but that's to be expected when an app is exclusive to a particular platform only. And at the time, for an entire year, Clubhouse has been exclusive to iOS only. So if you wanted Clubhouse, you had to have an iPhone. Even if you were like a solid Android user, you had to have an iPhone. And it's still by invite only. So even if you sign up for Clubhouse, they will hold a spot for you, and they will tell you that they will send you a message to the mobile number that you give to connect to your new account. They will send you a text when they're ready to have you come in as a user, or you can bypass the wait time by having someone that you know that has Clubhouse send you a personal invite to join Clubhouse, and then you can bypass the wait time and have your account set up and be able to get in there and start listening in different clubs and chiming in and talking with various people all around the world for whatever the subject discussion is. And Clubhouse has a variety of different things, right? So you would think it's like mostly tech people, but it's actually not. There's people in there that do ASMR. There's people in there that do meditation. There's people in there that talk about current events, politics, religion. You know, it's just one of those places where people can get together, and when they have that, you know, that similar interest, they can get together and have vocal conversations, kind of like a live podcast with a group of people on it. The only difference is that it's not streamed. So you can't stream it to Twitter or any other platform. It's not saved, so you can't save a copy of it and upload it on another platform. Once you end the session on Clubhouse, it's ended. Okay, does Clubhouse keep a record of these things? More than likely, but they say it's for a specific amount of time before it's completely deleted off the server, so it's not taking up so much room. But they do hold on to these sessions for a little bit of time, just in case there's some sort of a report and they have to submit it over to authorities for evidence. They have it. Twitter does the same thing with Twitter Spaces. They let you know that they hold on to your space recordings for a specific amount of time, and then it's dropped, just in case, you know, your Twitter Space session was reported for anything. They hold on to it. So you know, with Clubhouse pretty much like, you know, hitting that point, they did the smartest move ever, which a lot of people were kind of like talking about. They were absolutely talking about this. Let's get back on there with that. It was kind of like dead silent. So anyways, yeah, they listened to a lot of people who were weighing in on why Clubhouse was literally just going kaput. And that's because it was exclusive to iOS only. So they just recently opened it up for Android. I have my Pixel 4 signed into my Clubhouse account. I haven't created a room yet on Clubhouse, but I'm probably going to. And to be honest, I would prefer to use Twitter Spaces because a lot of people that are friends with me are on Twitter, or I would use Facebook. But the reason that I'm choosing to probably go with Clubhouse is because Twitter Spaces has limitations, right? You got to have 600 or more followers in order to start a space on Twitter. So most people that can't start a space on Twitter end up going to Clubhouse and starting one there. And now that it's open for Android, it means that you don't have to go out and get yourself a cheap iPhone just to get yourself in on Clubhouse and run it off Wi-Fi only. Now it is open. It's beta for Android, but it's open. Again, the same scenario as it is on iOS. If you go and download the Clubhouse app, and you go through the sign-in process, there is a wait-in. You have to wait or get an invite from somebody that's on there. Now, I don't have any invites right now to invite anybody in. However, when I do start my own room on Clubhouse and I do a couple of sessions on there, Clubhouse will give me some invites to give out to invite people who are waiting to get their accounts built for Clubhouse, to just bypass all that and get them in right away so they can start listening. I know some people are going to be like, well, Clubhouse is boring, blah, 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 or it's dead or whatever. Like, I don't know what people are expecting out of Clubhouse. It's very clear cut and dry. It's not, it's not for you to get fame. Okay. It's not really in that context, right? If I wanted to, to get stardom and fame or whatever, YouTube is that platform to really kind of do that. Clubhouse is just an audio drop-in chat session. That's really all that it is. And people are like, well, what can you do with Clubhouse? There are those people out there who are like, I want to pick the brains of Elon Musk, or I want to pick the brains of John Ledger. I want to pick the brains of like some Fortune 500 CEO that you're a big fan of, and you've seen how they grew a company and just the market tactics that they use. And you want to be able to pick their brains. Clubhouse is a way that you can do that, because these men and women that are, in the workforce, such as that, at higher, at higher levels, they go on Clubhouse and they share a bit of knowledge. Like Elon Musk goes on Clubhouse and he talks with people on there, and he gives insight to like what he would do in certain scenarios and what he's done that's been successful to him. There are people who, when you see them go on Twitter and they say like, I had a great conversation with Elon Musk, and they're like, CH, which stands for Clubhouse. They're not BSing anybody. They're not trying to get clout, whatever word this generation uses, or whatever it's called. I don't know. That's like an old phrase now? Did they use something else now? I can never keep up with this generation's slangs and terminology and stuff. But they're not out there chasing fame or 15 seconds of fame or whatnot. They really did have a conversation with Elon Musk. Because he's not on Clubhouse looking for other elitists to have conversations with. He's conversating with anybody that's in that Clubhouse room. And, a lot of the people who are running the show, those that create these rooms and hosts it, they're really good about letting people join in. Like I popped in Viper's Clubhouse room this morning. He has his Monday coffee time, and that there's like a group of people in there. Not all of them are YouTubers that are into tech, but they're just like everyday people. And he had like a good amount of people already in with audio capabilities to speak. You have to be given permissions from the host to be able to speak, but you can listen. So I went inside there. I didn't have no intentions of engaging in a conversation because I wasn't in there from start. So I don't know a lot of the things that they were talking about. That's just, I'm weird like that. But I was listening, so I thought, the conversation was really good, and they sent me kind of like an invitation to activate my microphone and join the conversation and speak, and they didn't know who the hell I was. But they offered it, and they even called it out. Like they were naming all the people that were listeners, and they were like, if you guys want to join in, just click the raise your hand button, and that lets them know that you want to speak, and they will open your ability to speak in that room. And they're really good about it. There are a lot of people that's very open about it. I've been in several different rooms. Like I've been in a room that talks about like the best ways to meditate, because I'm trying meditation now. Meditation, physical health, things like that, discussions on food. Like I followed like different people that have like a passion for cooking and food. There's a Clubhouse room for soul food. There's a Clubhouse room for British food. There's a Clubhouse for Thai food, and you listen to people talk and give recipes and give like tips and tricks on like what they would do while preparing a certain dish. Like I listen to those things. I listen to politics. I listen to religion. I listen to a lot of things on Clubhouse. Like, there's a lot of things there. Besides just a group of people getting together, which I know Twitter is trying to replicate something like that. Like you can start a space on Twitter and you can have these same types of conversations on Twitter too. But Twitter can't do what Clubhouse does as far as its user interface, because Twitter is built around microblogging. They can't just completely eradicate that from the Twitter app and just have like this thread of just different rooms with people speaking in it, because Clubhouse, that's its main bread and butter. That's its core point. Twitter's core point is microblogging. Facebook's core point is social posting, like MySpace was. Reddit is, thread posting. So I mean, those different services are going to have clone replications of what Clubhouse is, but it is not able to like recreate the user interface. Now, some people are like, well, for Twitter, they can just build an entire new app. I doubt Twitter would do that, because it's going to defeat the purpose of why they closed Periscope. Periscope was built by Twitter. It is Twitter owned. It's not like a third-party app that's given API access to Twitter itself. It is Twitter, but it is a complete different area of what Twitter is, and was solely dedicated to live streaming. Now, obviously, the company itself implemented live streaming directly from the Twitter app itself, which was the writing on the wall that they were eventually going to get rid of Periscope and just have that natively built into the Twitter app. And they did so. So for people to say, well, Twitter's probably just going to create its own app spaces. If they did that, it would be a complete waste of time if they did it. And obviously, if they did it, they would eventually kill it and just bring it back into the Twitter app. So I wouldn't hold my breath thinking that Twitter is going to create Twitter Spaces as a separate app with a separate user interface and all that stuff. It's just a waste of time and money for them to do that. So anyways, if you guys want to find me on Clubhouse, right there, that is my username on Clubhouse. That's my username for everything, for Twitter, for Instagram, Clubhouse, right there. And if you guys have an idea of like what you guys would love to like have a conversation with on Clubhouse, yeah, DM me on Twitter. Let me know some of your guys' ideas, what you guys would love to kind of talk about. And, I can start a Clubhouse room. I can start, club itself and have, people become members and people that, will see it and follow it for the interest. And maybe we can make something grow out of it. In no way is that intentionally like, it's just for people to go and hang out. And like I said, and I've tried it before. I've tried it on the iPhone when I had Clubhouse on the iPhone, because like that's one thing about Clubhouse too. If you do sign up for the services, and then you can only have it active on one smartphone. So if you have like an Android and an iPhone, and you switch, say you go into your iPhone and you go through the login for Clubhouse for your account on your iPhone, and it's logged in on your Android. The moment that you access logins on your iPhone and you're online on your iPhone, it logs you out on the app on your Android. So you can't have it simultaneous on various different devices. Same as Snapchat, you can't do that. So just know that if you have it logged in on your iPhone and then you grab your Android phone and you want to try it on your Android phone, the moment you log into your Clubhouse account on your Android phone, your iPhone's Clubhouse app will log you out. So if you click the Clubhouse and open up, it's going to have you try to sign in on your iPhone again. Just letting people know. Are there any subtle differences between the Android version and the iOS version? So far, from what I'm seeing, the user interface is pretty much the same. There's not really much of a difference in that aspect, but I have to use it more in order to be able to give you guys more of an in-depth thing. The one thing I will tell you guys that will make a big play on it is the fact that what type of microphone your phone uses could determine the audio quality that's put out. Is Clubhouse accessible from a laptop? I don't know. I will find that out right now. We'll see. We shall see. So let me just type in Clubhouse and see if they got a website. It says join Clubhouse, drop in audio chat. Let me just click it and see what happens. Oh. Hey, we're still opening up, but anyone can join with an invite from an existing user. And then it gives you links to either download from the App Store or download from the Google Play Store. So no accessibility from Chromebook itself. I'm on Clubhouse on both iOS and Android. I've been invited to several rooms. The Android version is beta and I love it. Yeah, I haven't followed you yet. Ray sent me an invite to get me in. As a new user, so I'm actually in now. I'll find you, Gina, and I'll follow you on there. Hey, Maverick, what's going on? Hi, everybody. Wow, the temps have plummeted. We're in the mid 80s this past weekend, and now overnight it's in the mid 60s today. Yowza! The Clubhouse, you say, sounds like the Little Rascals to me. Maverick, I'll trade you weather, bro, because it's going to hit like close to 100 today here. You want that warm weather, but let's trade. Let's see if we can develop the technology to just shift weather around the world. But yeah, there's not major differences between the Android version and the iOS version of Clubhouse. And here's the thing. Smart move by Clubhouse to do it, since Clubhouse is the originator of the audio drop-in chat social platform. They gotta stay relevant on top. Twitter and Facebook, Reddit, they need to be chasing Clubhouse, not leading it. And plus two, I feel like this type of saturation is actually going to kill the momentum that audio drop-in chat platforms is going to have. Because you got Facebook building one for Facebook, and apparently rumor has it they're building one for Instagram. And it's like, what's the point? Instagram used to, this is how bad social platforms have gotten, right? So if you look at the history of Instagram, Instagram was entirely just a online social platform for a picture portfolio, right? You as a photographer can have people go check out your photos by going to your Instagram, and that's what it was. They opened up video recording capabilities so that way photographers can actually talk back with their fans, uploading little short 60-second clips to their Instagram feed. But now that you look at Instagram in the way it is right now, you got Instagram photos, Instagram videos, you got IGTV, a content creator platform by Instagram to challenge YouTube. And then you got Instagram stories, which is a bite off of Snapchat. And then you got Instagram Reels, which is a bite off of TikTok. So Instagram is a Frankenstein of different things, the same as Twitter is a Frankenstein of different things, the same way as Facebook is a Frankenstein of different things. It's no longer what their root thing was. And I know they're doing this because they figure that if they give these types of features, those that go to Clubhouse and those that go to Snapchat and those that go to TikTok will go back to them to keep them relevant. Because without these features, Facebook is dead on its heels. Facebook hasn't really had a major impact in the social network space. It just doesn't anymore. There's too much negativity, like a negative cloud that hovers over Facebook. I'm not going to get into it in any of that stuff. You guys can search that up yourselves. But Facebook has pretty much like really not been on that great. And what would you expect when the founder of Facebook and CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, looks like Commander Data from Star Trek, absolutely has no emotions whatsoever? And me personally, I dislike Mark Zuckerberg, but it's not because of Facebook. It's because of an entirely different thing. If you guys want to hear about my reasons why, let me know. And in a future broadcast, I will talk about why I have beef with Mark Zuckerberg. But I'm warning you guys right now, it has nothing to do with Facebook. Excuse me. Absolutely nothing to do with Facebook. It's on a totally separate thing. If you guys don't know about that, let me know. If you're watching the replay and you want to know about that, put that in the comment section and I will plan that out. Anyway, let's shift away from Clubhouse before I close this out. Let's go on something really, really, really cool. And that is, did you guys catch the trailer for, Venom, Let There Be Carnage? Major tech social medias are censorship. They all are. They absolutely all are. But I saw the trailer. You guys know I'm a big movie buff. I saw the trailer. I was kind of disappointed in how Carnage looks. But then again, you'd like to hear it? All right. That's one vote for the Mark Zuckerberg podcast. Okay. Gotta keep that in mind. But when I saw the trailer, I obviously I can't show it on here or I'll get demonetized. And yeah. And trust me, like monetization on YouTube has gone to hell. Like the totally different subject. But anyways, so I can't show the trailer and react to it, but I can tell you guys my reaction to it. It's good, Woody Harrelson is playing what's his name? I forgot his name. The name that's coming to my head I know is not him, because that's Muhammad Ali's actual name before he legally changed it to Muhammad Ali. What's it? I keep thinking Lee Cassidy too, but I'm not sure if that's it. Someone let me know, because I totally brain farted that. Can't remember it. But anyways, but he is the host for the symbiote Carnage, right? And I guess in this we shall see if Carnage, like Carnage's backstory and stuff like that. Like we'll figure out how that symbiote got to that convict. Doesn't Carnage look like Spider-Man, but just far more horrific and evil? Yeah, this is maximum Carnage. So the movie Let There Be Carnage is based on the Maximum Carnage game that was released on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. However, it's not really at that point yet, right? So Spider-Man is not going to be implemented into this just yet. This is just going to, I guess, kind of be like the start off of the beef between Venom and Carnage. And I guess it's going to spill over where Spider-Man's going to join the fray. Because at some point, Spider-Man with Tom Holland and Venom, they will collide. Their movies will collide to finally bring that epic Venom versus Spider-Man showdown. And of course, we then will see like Maximum Carnage play out, right? Because there's still more development in Spider-Man that they got to do, right? They got to bring Doppelganger. They got to implement that somehow into it. They got to bring Shriek. They got to bring her into it. You know, there's Green Goblin, there's Demogoblin, there's Hobgoblin. They got to bring the goblins in. There's just so many different villains that have to be brought in. And so, yeah. And yes, the video game was freaking awesome. Probably one of the in my top 10 beat 'em up games, Maximum Carnage sits at 3. It's number 3. My favorite one to play. I have a Super Nintendo emulator on my Pixelbook, and I have the game. I've downloaded the ROM from a website. Can't say what website it is because I don't want them to get taken down. But and I play Maximum Carnage all the time just for fun, and it's so cool because you play Spider-Man at first. Then when you get to San Francisco, you can play as Venom, and Venom makes his way to New York. And then in each level after that, you can choose to be Spider-Man or Venom, and play the game out. It's really, really cool, really fun game. If you've never played Maximum Carnage, get the emulator, download the ROM, find it online, download it, play the game. It's awesome. But Carnage in the trailer, there's not really much to him. I mean, we see various different things. I mean, of course, Carnage's main thing was he made stabbing weapons out of himself. You know what I mean? So he can make like an axe, he can make a spike to impale you, all those things, right? And when it comes to Venom, and I said this, like, trust me, I like the movie Venom. I thought, with Tom Hardy, I thought the movie was pretty good. It's just kind of hard because Venom is Venom, and he doesn't have his Venom logo on him. You know what I mean? But it was the trailer was kind of funny because Venom is making Eddie Brock breakfast. He's just whipping up all kinds of stuff, and then he's like, ketchup. What? He just shoots the ketchup all over Eddie Brock's shirt, you know what I mean? But it kind of shows you in the trailer just how Venom and Eddie have bonded, even going into the into the bodega, slash like the little miniature store where that lady that Venom protected when he ate the armed robber. She's still in the movie. It's just, when I see Carnage, I'm just like, okay, so yeah, I guess that would be like a live action version of Carnage would look like that, because I'm like comparing him to the comic book, which I probably shouldn't do that, but I'm kind of already done it, and I'm just like Carnage. I'm just like, I don't know. But the crazy thing is how Woody Harrelson looks in this movie. And you've got to tell that Woody Harrelson had to work out for this movie. Like, he literally had to condition his body for it to make anyone believe that even with the symbiote hidden inside of him, that he had the ability to just start punching away at the prison wall. Now, already Woody Harrelson has that face that kind of gives you that cold, eerie feeling that he's insane. Not realizing that his insanity pairs side by side with the symbiote Carnage, who happens to be an insane symbiote. And they just go hand in hand together. So really, it's just going to be like a battle between two symbiotes with their two hosts that they perfectly have bonded with. How crazy is that? I'm just interested in knowing, what story are they going to follow with Carnage? Are they going to follow that Carnage is a separation of Venom, and that technically Carnage is Venom's son, like they've done in the animated series and in some of the comic books? Or are they going to have Carnage completely separate, not being an offspring of Venom? So that we'll have to see. We'll have to see how how Carnage found the host. We're gonna have to see how that happened. Did that happen during the time where they had the different samples? Was Carnage one of the samples that was in the first movie that may have escaped and made its way to that prison? Was Cassidy even one of the people that they took off the streets as a volunteer to try and bond a symbiote with a human host body? All that to see, but still kind of nice though to see that this movie is coming. I'm happy to see that the comics that I've read when I was a kid are coming into live screen movies. While I am kind of frowning upon that some of these movies have completely destroyed characters, like, trust me, Avengers, Iron Man, great. Robert Downey Jr., phenomenal actor, plays Tony Stark's very, very well. But if anyone remembers the actual Iron Man, there's a point where he's paralyzed. He's a paraplegic, which is what hid him as being known to the world as Iron Man. Because Iron Man could walk, and this is why no one ever believed that Tony Stark could be Iron Man. And then, of course, the other major big thing is that Iron Man, and there was an Iron Man 3, they brought the suit War Machine. And in an actual comic timeline, War Machine is the Iron Man suit, but it was modified with machine gun artillery. So the person who dons the War Machine suit actually donned the Iron Man suit that has been hidden for years and discovered by this guy who modifies the suit and takes over it. So War Machine and Iron Man are not supposed to be in the same present timeline. Yet in the MCU universe, they do fudge and change certain things. You know what I mean? I mean, it happens. I look at Ghost Rider, right? Ghost Rider 1 was too animated for me. It was good. I like it, but it was just kind of off a little bit. When you watched Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, you see how they CGI'd Ghost Rider and changed him up and made him look more dark, more real creepy, right? Even his mannerisms and movements kind of look like the special effects they use for like a demonic possession movie, with those quick, fast, go, stop, animation movements that would freak anybody out. So you can see where MCU really tries to correct a lot of its mistakes, but I mean, the Avengers and Iron Man, that was too big of a mistake for them to go back and try to repair it, and it wouldn't make sense for them to reboot it. That would be completely stupid, because to me personally, Robert Downey Jr. killed it as Tony Stark and Iron Man. So it would be really dumb for them to try and fix that mistake and reboot it like they've tried to reboot Fantastic Four. It just wouldn't make sense. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which is Venom Part 2. Wishful thinking, if they're going to make a live action movie, that's going to be really fun to watch. I would really love for them, because I don't know if you guys remember that Marvel used to have the What If series. Like, what if Wolverine stayed with Alpha Flight? Those. So a What If series that I would really love to see the MCU kind of just make a play on would be the Fantastic Four versus the new Fantastic Four. If anyone remembers that comic book series, big thumbs up to you. Hashtag 4v4, so like 4 versus 4, to let me know that you guys actually know what that comic book is. If you don't know, I'll gladly tell you right now. There is a comic book series where the Fantastic Four have to square off in a one-on-one fight with the new Fantastic Four. The new Fantastic Four comprises of the Incredible Hulk, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and I forgot who the fourth person was. I don't want to say Spider-Man, but I'm leaning towards that, but I could be wrong on that. And of course, you guys know who the Fantastic Four are. Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, the Human Torch thing. Those are the Fantastic Four. And the new Fantastic Four squares off with the old one. So it would be cool to see that brought into a cinematic live action version movie. I would definitely big thumbs up that. So yeah. Anyways, guys, pretty much hit my 1 hour mark, so I'm good to go for today. And it is Monday, so I'm not trying to keep you guys on too long or whatever. If you guys want to follow me on Clubhouse, or any of my social platforms, there's my username right there. That's how you'll find me on those platforms. If you guys do want to help out the channel with a one-time monetary donation, there's how you can do it. You guys may have saw my tweet that I was talking about trying to get my mom back to the US, and I posted my Cash App on there. And I got to tell everybody, I'm not really used to reaching out for help and stuff like that. Before I go quickly, just to explain so people kind of understand. So my mom, she was born in Thailand. She was raised in Thailand. She met my dad. They got married. She applied for citizenship. She was granted U.S. citizenship. She was married to my dad. My dad was in the United States Air Force, so she's now a citizen of the United States. She went back to Thailand to stay there for a while because of things was getting pretty rough up here in the United States. And when you stay in another country, but you don't switch over your citizenship or you don't apply for dual citizen status, which my mom didn't do, you have to pay a visa fee to stay there. Now, I told you guys that, a year and a half back, my mom suffered a stroke, a really bad stroke. Okay. She can barely walk. The mobility of her body is very fragile and everything like that. And because of the pandemic, cities and towns in Thailand, the people are not allowed to cross other towns and stuff like that. So my cousin, who usually checks up on my mom, hasn't been able to see my mom in a while. And I talk to my mom every day. This is the reason why that I've gone back to Google Fi. And so talking with my older sister and trying to figure out how to get my mom back to Hawaii where my sister's at, because my sister would prefer my mom be there. She has a house. It's much more spacious than my apartment. Getting the plane ticket for my mom to come back from Thailand to the US is not the problem, but she owes over a year of those visa fees. And I posted that the goal was to hit 300 because that's how much I'm short on. I'm actually now short by $230. So shout outs to those who donated and helped out. I really, really appreciate you guys for doing that. Anything counts, anything helps. $1, 50 cents, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? The last thing I want is for my mom to pass away alone. And so I'm doing what I can to try and raise that money up, and to get her back as soon as possible. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of clarify that so people kind of understand, like, my severity. I want to get my mom back. And if you can't help out with anything, don't worry about it. It's not, I'm not going to out anybody because, they couldn't help, in a time of need or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, I've never really done this before, to reach out and ask for help like that. So yeah, it's kind of a first for me to do that. So I just want to be clear on that. Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys enjoyed it, smash the like button because it helps circulate it. Really, really appreciate you guys for being here this Monday. #GER Mondays, as we are at the beginning of the week. And I shall see you guys tomorrow. So stay blessed. Be safe out there. I love you guys very much. And as always, peace.